So, ladies and gentlemen, there is a power, a quiet but mighty power, that lives within every one of us. It doesn't shout, it doesn't boast, but when awakened, it changes everything. It lifts a tired soul, strengthens a weary heart, and lights the way through life's darkest valleys. It's the power of positive thinking. Too many people walk through life defeated before they've even begun, shackled by doubt, fear, and negativity. But I tell you this, you are not meant for defeat. You are not built to fail. Within you is a God-given ability to rise, to grow, to overcome. And it all begins not in your circumstances, but in your thoughts. What you think, you become. What you believe, you attract. If you fill your mind with faith, hope, and belief, the world opens up to you. Miracles begin to happen. Doors begin to unlock, and the impossible becomes possible. Belief is the mighty force that lifts the human soul from despair to determination, from fear to faith, from failure to success. It is not just a passive feeling, it is an activating power. When you begin to truly believe in yourself, when you trust that you are not walking alone, but guided by a divine power greater than any obstacle you face, you ignite within yourself a fire that no storm can put out. Belief is not merely wishing for better days. It is knowing deep in your heart that better days are already on their way, even if you can't yet see them. It is standing tall when everything around you tries to make you feel small. You see, the human mind is an extraordinary instrument. Whatever it truly believes, it begins to create. If you go through life convinced that you are weak, unlucky, or doomed to fail, then life will reflect that belief right back at you. But if you walk forward with the unshakable conviction that you were made for more, that God has placed something valuable and strong inside of you, then you will begin to rise. The moment you replace doubt with belief, the moment you silence the voice of "I can't," with the powerful voice of "with God, I can," everything begins to change. Belief fuels action. It gives you the courage to try, to step out, to keep going even when the odds seem stacked against you. And let me tell you, no great success story ever began with someone who doubted their worth. Every achievement, every dream realized started with a person who dared to believe. Not because they were perfect, not because they never failed, but because they never gave up on the idea that with faith and effort, all things are possible. Faith is the engine behind belief. When you believe not only in yourself, but in God's loving hand guiding your steps, you step into a realm of confidence that no circumstance can shake. You become anchored, unmovable, steady in the storm. That belief becomes your compass, your strength, your daily fuel. And as you keep feeding your mind with thoughts of possibility, with words of encouragement, with prayers of trust, your belief becomes stronger than your fear, stronger than your excuses, stronger than your past. So don't just wish for a better life. Believe that it is already unfolding. Believe that you are capable. Believe that you are not alone. Believe that each day holds new mercy, fresh strength, and open doors. Because belief, my friend, is power. And once you tap into that power, you'll begin to live the life you were always meant to live. Your thoughts are the builders of your life. What you consistently think, you eventually become. If your mind is filled with defeat, discouragement, and doubt, your life will reflect those feelings in everything you do. But if you fill your mind with victory, with confidence, and with unwavering hope, you'll begin to see yourself rising above every challenge. The truth is, you are not the victim of your circumstances. You are the product of your thinking. That's not just a nice idea. It's a spiritual law. Your mind is a workshop where tomorrow's reality is being shaped today. Many people fail not because they lack talent, intelligence, or opportunity, but because they let negative thinking dominate their inner world. They talk themselves out of trying. They imagine failure before they've even begun, and they rehearse defeat so often that it becomes their reality. But the moment you shift your thoughts, just the moment you begin to say, I can, I will, God is with me, victory is mine, your world begins to shift with you. Opportunities appear, energy rises, and solutions unfold. Why? Because you've aligned your thinking with power instead of fear. Positive thinking isn't pretending that everything is perfect. It's choosing to believe that even if things are hard right now, better days are coming. It's saying, this may be tough, but I'm tougher. This challenge may be big, but my God is bigger. It's about keeping your mind focused on what's possible, not what's painful. When your thoughts are focused on strength, you become stronger. When your thoughts are focused on healing, peace begins to fill your heart. When you think progress, your steps begin to move in the right direction. You must protect your mind the same way you'd protect your home. You wouldn't allow a thief to walk in and destroy your belongings. So don't let destructive thoughts enter and steal your joy, your peace, or your dreams. Feed your mind daily with truth. Speak affirmations that lift you. Pray thoughts that inspire hope. Read words that encourage strength. Surround yourself with voices that speak life. Your thoughts are seeds, and your life is the harvest. What are you planting today? There is nothing weak or passive about thinking positively. It takes courage to keep believing when you've been knocked down. It takes faith to keep seeing light when all you see is darkness. But that is the strength of a positive thinker. That is the strength of someone who knows their thoughts are shaping their destiny. And when you choose to think thoughts of faith, thoughts of strength, thoughts of love and possibility, you align yourself with the power that created the universe. That power is in you, working through you, and waiting for you to believe. Think victory, and you will rise into it. Think strength, and you will find it. Think hope, and life will meet you there. Fear is one of the most powerful emotions known to man. It whispers lies in your ear, telling you that you are not enough, that you'll never succeed, that the worst is always coming. It causes you to hesitate when you should move, to run when you should stand strong, to give up when you are just inches from victory. Fear is a thief. It robs you of peace, confidence, joy, and purpose. But there is one force greater than fear, one power that can drive it out completely: faith. Faith is not the absence of problems, but the presence of power. It is not blind. It sees clearly that difficulties exist, yet chooses to trust that something greater will guide you through them. When fear grips your heart, it paralyzes you. It keeps you stuck in indecision, wrapped in anxiety, unable to move forward. But the moment you begin to turn your thoughts toward faith, everything changes. Faith lifts your spirit and gives you courage. Faith says, even if I don't know how, I know I will. Faith doesn't need to have all the answers. It just needs to trust the one who does. When you start walking by faith instead of fear, you're no longer a prisoner to circumstances. You become a person of power, a person of resilience, a person who rises no matter how many times life tries to keep you down. Faith is built in the quiet moments when you pray, even though you're worried. It grows when you choose to believe in the possibilities instead of rehearsing the problems. It strengthens when you say, "I will not be afraid, because I know that God walks with me." Every time you choose faith, you silence the voice of fear. Every time you speak a word of hope, you break the grip of doubt. Faith is not a one-time event. It is a daily choice, a mental discipline, a spiritual decision to keep your mind fixed on truth instead of lies. There is no storm that faith cannot carry you through. There is no darkness so deep that faith cannot light the way. Fear tells you that you are alone, but faith reminds you that God is near. Fear tells you to give up, but faith says, "Try one more time." Fear will always shout the loudest just before your breakthrough, but if you can push past that voice, you'll find that strength you never knew you had. You don't have to be fearless to live in faith. You just have to be willing. Willing to trust, willing to believe, willing to take one step forward even when you feel uncertain. Because each step taken in faith is a step away from fear. And the more you walk in faith, the more fearless you become. Let faith be your anchor and your wings. Let it carry you to places fear told you you'd never go. And you'll discover that with faith, anything is possible. Life is full of challenges, problems, and situations that seem too heavy for us to carry. At times, we are pushed to our limits, wondering how we will make it through. But there is one timeless truth that brings strength to the weary and courage to the afraid. Every problem has a spiritual solution. No matter how complicated the issue may seem, no matter how deep the pain or how long the struggle, there is always a higher answer waiting to be found. When we stop trying to solve everything with human logic alone and instead turn to faith, prayer, and divine wisdom, we discover a power greater than any problem. The human mind, though brilliant, has limits. It cannot always see the bigger picture. It cannot always understand why things happen the way they do, but the spiritual realm sees beyond time and circumstance. When we quiet our minds and connect with God through prayer, we open a door to answers we would never find on our own. That gentle whisper of guidance, that unexpected idea, that sense of peace in the middle of chaos, that is the spiritual solution revealing itself. Prayer is not about asking for life to be easy. It is about receiving the strength and direction to walk through the storm with peace. Sometimes the answer does not come right away. That's where persistence plays its role. You may pray and not feel any immediate change, but don't stop. Keep pressing forward. Keep believing that the solution is on its way. Persistence is the evidence of your faith. When you refuse to quit, you tell life, "I may be facing a mountain, but I know a way over, under, around, or through it will appear." That kind of faith moves obstacles. That kind of attitude invites the miraculous. Positive thinking is the third key. When your thoughts are filled with discouragement, you limit your vision. But when you keep your thoughts lifted, with trust, gratitude, and expectation, you make room for answers to flow into your life. You begin to see opportunities in the middle of problems. You notice the lessons hidden inside the pain. You start to view challenges not as punishments, but as training grounds for your destiny. The solution is not always to remove the problem, but to rise above it, grow through it, and be transformed by it. You may be facing something right now that feels impossible, but I urge you to pause, take a deep breath, and invite God into the situation. Speak words of faith over it. Choose to believe that this too has a solution. It may not look the way you expect, and it may not come when you want it, but it will come. Every problem, no matter how great, is an opportunity for you to go deeper in faith, to grow stronger in spirit, and to see the power of God at work in your life. Words are not just sounds or symbols. They are containers of power. They carry life or they carry defeat. The words you speak to yourself day in and day out shape the way you see the world, the way you act, and ultimately the way your life unfolds. Speak positive words, and your thoughts will rise with them. Speak hopeful, faith-filled words, and your spirit will begin to believe again. You cannot expect to live a victorious life if your mouth is constantly declaring failure. What you say becomes what you believe, and what you believe becomes what you experience. There is a quiet miracle in speaking positivity daily. It may seem small at first, repeating simple phrases like "I am strong," "I am capable," "God is with me," "good things are coming." But over time, those words begin to take root. They build confidence. They push back the walls of fear and doubt. They fill your atmosphere with expectation instead of despair. And when your environment is charged with belief, your actions naturally begin to shift in that direction. You start to think more clearly. You make bolder decisions. You face challenges with a steady heart. So many people go through life under a cloud of negativity, constantly repeating phrases like, "I'm not good enough," "I never get a break," "Nothing ever works out for me." These words, though often said casually, become like chains that hold them back. But the moment you change your language, you start to change your direction. Say what you want to become, not what you fear you are. Speak as though the answer is already on the way. Say, "I am healing." Even when you still feel broken, say, "I am rising." Even when life feels low, that's not denial, it's faith in action. Positive words don't just change your emotions, they change your spiritual vibration. They align you with truth, with possibility, with the power of God working in your life. When you speak light into your day, you push back the darkness. When you declare peace, you calm the storm inside your heart. When you affirm strength, strength begins to rise within you. And these words don't only affect you, they affect everyone around you. A word of hope can lift someone else's burden. A word of encouragement can turn someone else's day around. You become not just a speaker of positivity, but a source of it. Begin every morning by speaking words of life over yourself. Let your first thoughts not be of worry or stress, but of gratitude, hope, and determination. Say today, "Something good is going to happen to me. I am prepared. I am focused. I am blessed." Speak those words even if your feelings don't agree, because eventually your feelings will catch up to your faith. When you speak positive words daily, you train your mind to expect good things. And when you expect good things, you open the door for them to enter. Success begins in the mind. Before it ever becomes something you touch, something you achieve, or something others see, it starts as a picture in your thoughts. What you see internally with clarity and faith, you are already moving toward. The clearer the vision, the stronger the pull. That's the power of visualization. It's not just about imagining a better life. It's about forming a mental blueprint so vivid, so real, that your mind, body, and spirit begin to work together to make it happen. When you visualize success clearly, you're giving your life a direction. You're telling your mind, "This is where I'm going." And the mind begins to align your actions to follow that path. Too many people let their imagination be ruled by fear. They visualize defeat, failure, and embarrassment long before they try anything. They picture things going wrong, and then, not surprisingly, they hesitate, give up, or never begin. But when you flip that script and use your imagination for victory, your inner world starts to create the outer one. See yourself succeeding. See yourself confident, healthy, joyful, thriving. Close your eyes and picture what it feels like to win, to walk in purpose, to overcome every obstacle. That's not fantasy. That's faith in motion. The mind doesn't know the difference between what is vividly imagined and what is real. That's why elite athletes visualize themselves crossing the finish line, why performers picture themselves walking on stage with calm and confidence. They know that repeated mental rehearsal builds inner belief, and belief becomes behavior. When you visualize success with clarity, your subconscious mind starts to accept it as your future reality. It begins to eliminate internal resistance and opens you up to ideas, opportunities, and energy that help move that vision forward. Start small if you must. Take 5 minutes each day to imagine your goals fulfilled. Don't just think about the outcome, feel it. Feel the pride, the peace, the joy of living in that success. Let that emotion become a daily fuel. Speak life to it. Say, I see it, I believe it, I am becoming it. And no matter how far off it feels, keep that vision in front of you. Write it down, look at it often. Let it remind you of why you started. Vision creates focus. Focus eliminates distraction. And when your eyes are set on where you want to go, it becomes easier to ignore the noise around you. You don't chase every little thing. You stay committed to your path. Your actions become intentional. Your energy becomes focused. You start walking, talking, and living like the person you see in your vision. You were created with the power to imagine greatness. Use it. See the success before it shows up. Feel the win before it happens. And keep holding that picture in your mind until the world catches up to what your faith already sees. There will be moments in life when everything feels heavy, when your plans fall apart, when people disappoint you, when the weight of anxiety, loneliness, or fear presses down on your soul. In those moments, it's easy to feel isolated. It's easy to believe the lie that you're alone in the struggle, that no one understands, and that even God seems silent. But I want you to know something deep, something unshakable. You are never alone. Not for one moment. Not in your darkest hour, not in your weakest state, not in your most broken place. The presence of God is with you, surrounding you, sustaining you, even when you don't feel it. His presence is not just beside you, it's within you. He walks with you through the valley. He stands with you in the fire. He holds you when you can't hold yourself together. And even when your heart is too tired to pray, He hears the silent cries of your soul. You may feel abandoned by people, but you are embraced by the one who never leaves. You may feel forgotten by the world, but heaven knows your name, sees your tears, and understands your pain. When stress rises and fear tries to take control, don't lean on your own strength. Your strength may falter, but God's strength never does. His peace is deeper than your anxiety. His power is greater than your weakness. Lean into that strength. Speak to Him like a trusted friend. Tell Him how you feel. Let your guard down and invite His comfort in. Because when you do, something begins to shift, not always in your circumstances right away, but inside of you. You find courage you didn't know you had. You discover peace in the middle of chaos. You feel steady even when the ground seems to shake beneath you. Life has a way of convincing us that we must do everything on our own, but that's not true. You were never meant to carry your burdens alone. You were never meant to face your battles alone. That quiet whisper in your spirit telling you to keep going, that's God. That sudden strength that shows up when you think you've reached your limit, that's God. That unexpected encouragement, that sense of calm, that unexplainable hope, that's God reminding you that He's here and He's not going anywhere. So no matter how isolated you may feel, speak this truth over yourself. I am not alone. God is with me. His presence surrounds me. His love carries me. Let those words echo in your heart until fear begins to lose its grip. Because once you understand that you're never alone, you begin to walk differently. You move with confidence. You face the day with trust. You endure hardship with strength, and you live each moment knowing that divine help is always within reach, just one whispered prayer away. Your mind is the control center of your life. Whatever you feed into it, you will eventually live out. Just as your body becomes strong and healthy when you give it nourishing food, your mind becomes powerful, resilient, and faith-filled when you feed it uplifting input. What you allow into your thoughts shapes your beliefs, and your beliefs shape your reality. That's why it's absolutely essential to guard what you read, what you watch, what you listen to, and who you surround yourself with. If you constantly take in fear, drama, gossip, and negativity, it will slowly poison your inner world. But if you feed your mind with inspiration, truth, wisdom, and hope, you will rise to a new level of thinking and living. In times of struggle, your mind will reach for whatever you've stored inside it. If you filled it with encouragement, scripture, and empowering words, that's what will rise to the surface when trouble comes, and it always will. You need strength that's already rooted within. That strength is built over time by choosing what you allow into your mind every single day. Read books that lift your spirit. Listen to voices that speak life. Play music that calms your heart and lifts your soul. These small choices each day add up to a transformed mindset. Your mind is like a garden. If you don't intentionally plant good seeds, weeds will grow by default. Don't just leave your thoughts to chance. Cultivate them. Water them with truth. Surround yourself with people who speak encouragement and faith. Spend time with those who remind you of who you are, not those who pull you down or make you doubt your worth. The company you keep has the power to lift you or limit you. Choose wisely, because your environment plays a big role in shaping your attitude and vision. Every morning is a new opportunity to set the tone for your day. Instead of starting with complaints, worries, or the noise of the world, start by feeding your mind something that strengthens you. Read a page from an inspiring book. Listen to a message that speaks hope. Write down things you're grateful for. Even 5 or 10 minutes of intentional, positive input can change the way you approach the rest of the day. You'll face problems with more clarity. You'll handle stress with more peace, and you'll treat others with more kindness and patience. Don't underestimate the power of the words and images you allow into your heart. They are forming your future. They are laying the foundation for the life you're building. The more you flood your mind with faith, gratitude, courage, and love, the more those qualities will flow from you into every area of your life. Fill your mind with the light you want to shine into the world, and soon enough, That light will be impossible to hide. You'll become a source of strength, not just for yourself, but for everyone you meet. Confidence is not the absence of uncertainty. It's the boldness to move forward despite it. Too many people wait for the perfect moment, for every question to be answered, for the fear to disappear before they act. But that moment rarely comes. Life rewards the bold, the ones who step out in faith, who dare to take a step even when the path ahead is foggy. Action is the evidence of belief. If you truly believe in something, your dream, your calling, your purpose, you must be willing to move even if it's just one step at a time. Because when you act with confidence, you activate something powerful, momentum. Faith without action is like a seed never planted. It may hold the potential to grow into something amazing, but unless it's put into the ground and nurtured, it will never become what it was meant to be. So many people have dreams, gifts, and ideas locked inside them, but they stay buried because of fear, self, doubt, or waiting for a sign. But you don't need a sign. You need a decision. A decision to start, to move, to believe that as you go, the way will become clear. Doors often don't open until you walk toward them. When you begin to act with confidence, even if your knees are shaking, something shifts within you. You begin to see yourself differently. You start realizing that you are more capable than you thought. Each small step becomes a vote of belief in your future. Confidence grows with every action, and before long, what once terrified you now feels like second nature. And remember, confidence isn't arrogance, it's assurance. Assurance that you are backed by a greater power. Assurance that even if you fail, you are not finished. Assurance that you are not walking alone. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is simply show up. Show up to the meeting, show up to the gym, show up to the dream. The first step is the hardest, but once you take it, the next becomes easier. Confidence builds not by staying still and thinking about what could go wrong, but by moving forward and discovering what could go right. Even when you don't feel confident, act like you do. Speak with belief. Stand tall. Push forward, because your actions will eventually align your emotions with your faith. Doors that seemed locked will begin to open. Opportunities that once looked impossible will appear within reach. The universe responds to movement. God honors bold steps, but you have to start. Don't wait for permission. Don't wait for perfection. Start where you are with what you have and watch how your courage draws the path beneath your feet. So don't sit back and wonder what could have been. Live boldly, move forward, walk like someone who knows the best is yet to come. Because when you act with confidence, you don't just change your future. You change yourself. You become the person you were always meant to be. Positive thinking is not something that happens by accident. It's not a magical burst of optimism that appears on the good days and disappears on the hard ones. It's a daily discipline, a choice, a practice, a commitment. Each morning you wake up, you are handed a blank canvas. What you put on it will be shaped by the thoughts you allow, the words you speak, and the focus you choose. If you want to live a life of peace, strength, and purpose, then you must train your mind to think positively, consistently, and intentionally. Just like you feed your body every day, your mind also needs nourishment, and what you feed it will grow. Feed it fear, doubt, worry, and that's what will grow in your spirit. But feed it truth, gratitude, and faith, and you will feel stronger, more hopeful, and ready to face whatever comes. Positive thinking doesn't mean you ignore life's difficulties. It means you approach them with the mindset that no matter what happens, you have the strength to rise above it, and that something good can still come from it. Start each day by anchoring your thoughts in something solid. Don't let your mind be swept away by the chaos of the world or the worries of tomorrow. Instead, pause, breathe, speak words of gratitude. Thank God for a new day. Declare that you will meet it with peace and power. That first moment of stillness, of awareness, of intention is where discipline begins. It's a quiet decision. Today I will choose to think with faith. I will choose to see the good. I will choose to speak with hope. Throughout the day, negativity will try to creep in. It will come through the news, through conversations, through your own inner voice. But that's when discipline becomes a shield. You catch those thoughts, challenge them, and replace them. When the thought says, "I'm not good enough," you say, "I am more than enough because God is with me." When fear whispers, "You can't handle this," you reply, "I've handled storms before, and I'll rise through this one too." This kind of mental training is not easy, but it is transformational. And over time, something beautiful begins to happen. What was once hard becomes natural. What felt forced becomes your rhythm. Positive thinking becomes not just something you practice, but something you are. You begin to see the good in others more quickly. You bounce back from setbacks more gracefully. You carry peace even when life is noisy. This is the reward of discipline. A calm heart in a storm. A focused mind in a distracted world. A joyful spirit in the face of uncertainty. So commit to the daily work. Speak light, think truth, walk in faith. Let positive thinking become your habit, your discipline, your way of life. And soon you'll realize it's not just your thoughts that change, it's your entire world. And remember this, when you fill your mind with faith, your heart with hope, and your mouth with positive words, there is no limit to what God can do through you. So believe big, think boldly, and walk forward with unshakable confidence.